UK hit back. EU in tight corner as Lord Frost back team up Truss for Article 16 settlement. Liz Truss has been tipped to bring Lord David Frost back into the cabinet in the role she currently occupies, Foreign Secretary, if she succeeds Boris Johnson as Prime Minister. Former UK diplomat Adrian Hill believes the chances of the former Brexit minister returning to the fold would be significantly increased if Ms Truss, who was handed his brief after his resignation on Saturday, was to move into number 10. And he suggested such an outcome would serve the EU right. As reported, Mr Johnson confirmed his preference for an interim deal with the bloc on the subject of the Northern Ireland Protocol in a letter to constituent Dr Timothy Bradshaw. Mr Bradshaw subsequently said he was concerned Mr Johnson could be on the verge of caving to Brussels. Mr Johnson is also under pressure as a result of the loss of the North Shropshire by-election, and the rebellion by 99 Tory MPs against legislation introducing vaccine passports. He has also been beset with damaging allegations about various Christmas gatherings held last year. Lord Frost's resignation letter outlined concerns about the government's direction of travel, and cited similar concerns about COVID restrictions. Mr Hill said Frost himself said that he could not support collective responsibility over COVID restrictions and Plan B. Moreover, that he'd worked closely with the PM and they'd never disagreed about Brexit. However, most people will take that as Frost behaving like a gent. Mr Hill added, "What intrigues me, because Boris is not the same healthy young fellow with whom we spent an evening when we lived in Sussex, is the very reasonable odds that Prime Minister Liz Truss may bring Frosty back into the cabinet as FCAD Secretary of State. Now that really would serve the EU its rightful fate." Mr Hill explained, "We liked Boris when we spent an evening with him in Sussex, close to the 1066 battlefield, but really think COVID took much more out of him than he's aware." Foreign Secretary Liz Truss appointed to take over negotiations with the EU. She's unlikely to be a soft touch, despite having voted to remain in the bloc at the 2016 Brexit referendum. She's an ardent fan of former Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, both in her embrace of free markets and disdain for the EU. After Truss's first call with European Commission Vice President Maros Sefcovic on Tuesday, she said the UK remained willing to trigger Article 16 of the Northern Ireland Protocol, fueling tension with the EU over the region. Adding to the complexity of dealing with the province, Ireland warned the EU that a proposed carbon levy could hurt the country's electricity market and post-Brexit trading relationship if the UK isn't exempted from the measure. Ireland's electricity system is integrated with that of Northern Ireland and the UK. London has signalled it would be willing to link its system with the EU's, a move that would whitelist the UK, but such an agreement has yet to be reached. Brussels unveiled a proposal to speed the supply of medicines to Northern Ireland from the UK as London indicated a willingness to soften its stance. The two sides have said they'd like to reach an agreement early in 2022, and on Friday London said it would accept an interim deal in its effort to renegotiate the so-called Northern Ireland Protocol. Britain had previously wanted to solve all post-Brexit issues affecting the region at once, but is now open to coming back to some questions in future. Meanwhile, France warned that the bloc's commissioners will meet in early January to decide on legal steps against the UK as the post-Brexit row over fishing licenses drags into the new year. France's junior Minister for European Union Affairs Clement Beaune said if the court rules that the UK hasn't respected the post-Brexit accord, that could lead to retaliation measures such as customs tariffs. Finally, the UK and Australia inked a landmark trade deal, the first post-Brexit agreement reached by Britain that goes beyond rolling over a previous relationship with an EU trading partner. It includes controversial provisions to open up the British market to Australian agricultural goods and is only expected to have a modest impact on the British economy. Expect